Buenos días, buenos días. Mi nombre es Samuel Davis El Tercero. What's going on with y'all? Another session down, and feeling good today. Again, I'm a generally optimistic guy, and this is just another one of those optimistic days. This face tracking is really getting on my nerves. I'm telling you, I don't understand why. It is not working right. This is actually, again, this is my original Osmo Pocket. So when I first started doing these morning vlogs, it was with the original, with the second one, the second version. So it had a lot better software tracking and everything like that. This one, maybe I need to look and see if they have an update or something. But good day today. Another session down. I think I don't know how far. I think I have, how many more I have left, but it's close to being over. So I have another appointment today, and as I said before, and I'll say it, I'm sure you hear it again, nothing like a cancer diagnosis to make you start looking into who you are and finding out all the little kinks and little issues that you have going on with you physically. Today I'm going to be going to since I am a 100% disabled veteran, thank God for that status, I get to go to the VA and all my medical is covered. Now, it just so happens that this cancer diagnosis that I have, I also, since I retired from the DOJ, I also have insurance through them. So generally how I usually work it is, I go to the VA because they're free, and then I'll go to Kaiser, which is who I chose as my provider, when the VA schedules me too far out. So I have about a $20, $25 copay with Kaiser, which is fairly nominal, I guess. And whichever one gets me in there quicker, I'll go there first. So it just so happened that this is the VA in this is Kaiser in La Jolla. This is the Moores Cancer Radiation Oncology, UCSD Radiation Oncology Center. It's surprisingly, the VA hospital is actually right across the street, right across the freeway from me. You know, probably less than five minutes away. So either way, I would have had to have driven back to the radiation center. Then again, I don't know, but I use this as my because the first one that hits me up, that's where I go to. I don't know why I feel like I need to talk about something and I can't call it, I can't pull it, but yeah. Again, as I started out talking about the cancer diagnosis making you check things out, I was having this problem with my left wrist. It's been something that's been ongoing for, I honestly want to say it's probably been going on for a couple of years. You know, since I've had this diagnosis, they've been putting I've been getting all kinds of IVs and hooking to my wrist, into my arm, and this left wrist has just been tingling and just acting, I don't know, acting kind of weird. It feels like I've had an IV and they're pulling it out, and it's been like that, just tingling all day long sometimes. Then it goes away for a period of time, then it comes back, almost like kind of like carpal tunnel. And there's nothing that I've been doing repetitive wise with my left hand that would bring it on. But I'm going to find out. I'm going to go to the VA. I have an 8 o'clock appointment for that today, and I actually really kind of look forward to sometimes going to the VA, because sometimes I run into people that I know, and other times you just get to see people there, and you get to run into some very interesting characters there, other veterans, and just chat. It's one of those benefits that I'm saying I am totally amazed that it's a free service, for at least for me as a veteran, as a disabled veteran. That is just amazing, and it makes me appreciate my time that I served in the military. It's been one of those things where it's the really awesome thing about the VA in Oceanside for me is the fact that, my goodness, it's less than 2 miles from my house. So any medical issues or concerns that I have, all I have to do is make an appointment, and there is no excuse. Excuse me. There is no excuse for me not to go and get myself checked out. Now, I'm making an observation right now, and I have not, and I'm going to admit this, I have not been working out like I should. I know that I've been working a lot on myself spiritually, mentally. I've been in my head, and I've been doing a lot of work on issues, life issues, things that I've been overcoming, trauma, things that I've been going through in my life. And I've been really, really focused on that. And it seems like that pretty heavily the last so many years of my life. And I've put my physical side down. And as I said before and earlier, nothing like a cancer diagnosis to make you start looking at your body, looking at what you've been doing, how you may or may not have been abusing yourself with, whether it be foods, whether it be alcohol, drugs, or whatever. But there's nothing like a cancer diagnosis to make you start looking at yourself in a different way. I know that there are times when initially I was trying to get into my head, cannabis, weed was I'm not going to say it was a gateway drug, but it sure enough made me focus in a whole different way. And I think it was amazing, especially after I started finding out about different strains. I know that I felt like the biggest hypocrite going around being in law enforcement for all those years. And then after I got out, I was 47 years old when I went and got a cannabis license, a medicinal cannabis license. And I remember I felt like I was sneaking around. Oh my goodness, they're going to see me going into the dispensaries, and starting to find out about weed. Man, what a journey that was. And interestingly enough, my first journey, I actually video recorded it. Not that I'm going to sit back and go put it out and make this video, but I remember initially, I would go in, I would try to buy marijuana, and I didn't know how to roll the joints. So I got a little vaporizer, and I tried to smoke, and it just would not hit me. Just wouldn't get it. Up until I told my wife, because I had snuck out and got this thing. And I said, hey, I got a marijuana license. And she said, what? And I told her I've been trying to smoke while she was away, and just didn't work. And then she actually introduced me to one of her friends who actually had a dispensary or worked with cannabis in cooking, and turned me on to a red velvet cake with cannabis. Woo! She said, don't take too much of this because it'll affect you a little bit later, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And man, that's when the game started. After that, it took a little while to get used to it. And then I started looking at, I started recognizing that I didn't really care for the smoking as much as I did. I like the full body high that an edible did. That something that that you consume. It felt a whole lot better for me, and it lasted all day long. The interesting thing was that I found out was the more fat that you have in your body, the more that your body will store up, and it would store and hold on to the cannabinoids or the CBD. It would last longer in my body. Being that my wife is a lot more less body fat than I have, it's stuck for me for what I could take. We could take the same thing and what keep me high for hours. She burned through in like maybe 30, 45 minutes. It's really weird. Of course, along with that long period of being high, I brought along those munchies, which goes along with talking about abusing your body. I was not balancing off the eating with with what I was doing in my consumption of cannabis. So I'm learning. I'm still learning. I enjoyed that period of time. I haven't since that time. I've met and have several friends who are actually growers, and that was really cool because what was interesting, I would go into these dispensaries, and lots of times I would go in and the owner would come in and they'd say, "Hey, you in law enforcement?" I said, "Yeah." And they'd say, "Come on in the back. Let me show you something." And I mean, my goodness, it must have been, I'm not gonna say all of them, but the majority of them would bring me in the back, let me see what they're doing, check the operations out, and they say, "Hey, taste this, drink that, feel this, rub this on here." And I got lotions, I got tinctures, I got popcorns and ice cream, and I'm sitting back and I'm kind of like, whoa, and how am I supposed to, be able to tell what's what if you keep on giving me all this stuff and getting me getting me high on the products, But it was really cool because they would tell me all, the odds, or excuse me, the positives and the negatives for them in their industry. How because they still haven't necessarily taken it off a Schedule 1, which makes it an illegal substance, to putting it to like a Schedule 2, I believe it is. So that way they could actually go to a bank and take the money and directly deposit it into a bank. And it's kind of weird how the legislation is. It's legal, but they won't let you necessarily come in with all this cash to deposit into a bank account because they consider it a Schedule 1 illegal drug, which is really weird. And it's just sucks. What really sucks to me the most is, as many people as we know back in the day, and I've known several guys who sold drugs in the streets, and they were running those businesses illegally, but they were doing the damn thing. They're locked up, and a lot of them are still locked up for some of the things that they've done back then. But now that they've quote unquote legalized it, and all of these white legislators and people are getting into the cannabis industry, and there's still those black people who are locked under the jail for cannabis crimes, which just amazes me. And it really sucks how the laws have favored those now who are legally selling it, or excuse me, or who have these big contracts, and I don't even want to get into the talk of the cannabis industry, but it really just sucks to me how now it's a profitable market and it's $1 billion industry, and those black people who are really doing great illegally with the business have been pushed out of it. And now there's, I'm trying to think of his name, John Boehner. He was one of the House speakers in Congress, and now he's got his own, crops that he does, and the industry just really sucks how they have demonized those previously and still have them in jail now. while the whites, or excuse me, the dominant society, as I will refer to them, how the dominant society is now leading the charge in the cannabis industry. You know, interesting. Speaking of cannabis again, there were certain edibles that really, I could take it, and I could they were kind of pre-cut, and I could take them, and they would give me such relief. And it's interesting, the sativas versus the indicas. The indicas are the body high, and the sativas were the head high. They gave me such an enlightened process of thinking, way of thinking, that they were really helpful